This week, we're on the road again. One Stars swing by Columbia during the college game day week with athletic director Ray Tanner. Topics this week we've got on deck: Williams-Brice stadium experience and upgrades, South Carolina hoops leadership, NFL week 2, and of course, the One Star moments of the week. Let's go.
This episode of One Star Recruits, as always, is brought to you by 500level.com, the best t-shirts in sports. Gamecocks fans, go get your Debo Samuel, Spencer Rattler, Xavier Leggett mystery shirts for $10. Use the discount code DK and RIP at checkout. That's DKANDRIP for 20% off everything on the site. 500level.com. Let's go.
This is Ray Tanner. I'm on with the One Star Recruits. I'm from the University of South Carolina.
Yo, aloha. Gamecocks are in my front yard, in my backyard, in my side yard. Definitely in the morning are right in my ear. I live in Hawaii. It comes with the territory. Rip, are you a sleeper? Do you mind the sound of cocks in the morning waking you up? Does it bother you or does it relax you?
There aren't many cocks down here in Southern California these days, but when I do go on vacation and I hear a cock, I see a cock, I enjoy the sound of it because it's different. But I'll tell you one thing, those gamecocks, the roosters, very beautiful animals. All the colors, I love it.
Oh, didn't you change of direction from my co-host to start the show? Yeah, some people, it's funny here. Some people in Hawaii, I think it takes about 7 days for you to get over them being a nuisance, but they really do bother some folks who come here for a short time because they're right up there. Right when the sun comes up, the cocks are up, Rip, and they're singing their song all night long. It's the one really connection I have to the South Carolina Gamecocks here on this island. It's very far away, Rip. Thank God this week was ESPN College Game Day. So we got a firsthand look. We had Ray on before, and then we got a firsthand look. So I felt very connected to Columbia, all things Columbia this week. And it was a tough loss. First loss of the season, number 16 LSU. Last Saturday. It was an exciting game, Rip. I want to talk about some players who I like. There's two guys who really stand out to me that I got to talk about with you a little bit. But we have Akron coming up. They took a big ass beating from Rutgers. New Brunswick, Rutgers, 49-17. And we got Ole Miss coming to town. We got some big games coming up. All in all, though, Rip, good timing, bro, to time game day, to have Ray on, and to kind of get this South Carolina experience. I'm a big fan of this running back and quarterback.
Yeah, and like you said, they took a tough loss. It was interesting timing. I don't know about good timing. Sometimes we have good timing on this show. Sometimes we have bad timing. This was a little curious timing because we talked to Ray a lot about the game. Crazy environment down there in Columbia, Williams-Brice Stadium. A lot of interesting things about the 900 acres of land they have to develop. And then, lo and behold, 2 days after the interview, Ray kind of announces his retirement a little bit. And I asked him about it during the interview. I don't know if he dodged the question. I don't know if something fishy's going on down in Columbia, DK. But yeah, a lot of interesting things in this interview with the South Carolina AD, who apparently is on his way out or on his way to the next office over.
Next office over, Rip. It sounds like they're moving pieces around. He's been there since 2012. I think this man's hired over a dozen different coaches from the different sports. He's done the job, Rip. Mission accomplished. Congratulations. Got Shane Beamer in there. Beamer was pissed off this week, Rip. Pissed off. A lot of flags, a lot of yellow being thrown all over college football. You know, I don't know if it's problematic. We got to sit down a little bit in college football, me and you and the One Star team, Rip, and figure out flags in general, NFL. A lot of pass interference. If you slow anything down slow enough, flags are going to start coming. It's a bit of a rant on flags, but it was a frustrating loss. And I'm sorry about Ray not getting. You love getting scoops. You're the number one scoop getter ever, Rip. You love getting it. It makes your whole week. I know. So I feel bad for you. Because you missed me on the interview. I would have definitely came around and Ray would have opened up about this change in position, sliding over offices. You know what I think it is, Rip? He's been there for a good amount of time. This is a high energy, tough job. I kind of think that you'll start to see guys like Graham Neff at Clemson with the real financial background. And I love Ray, but Ray is a baseball coach, Rip. This is a baseball dude coming into this environment. So I think you'll see more guys like Graham get these jobs. It's got to be a balance of that stuff with the finance and decisions and P&Ls and then winning football games. That's going to be the next killer combo. It's a wild place though, man. But I'm sorry for you. You feel you want an apology? Are you feeling bad I wasn't on the interview with you?
It was a little odd without you, and you might have asked that follow up that nailed it and got him to break some news. Hey, I love breaking news on 1-star recruits, just like you said. But hey, Ray and I had a nice little chat about retirement. I told him I'm 45, I want to retire now, and I asked him what his plans are. But secretly, if you know, you know, Mule Days is coming up in Ray Tanner's hometown of Smithfield, Benson, North Carolina, in a couple weeks. I think he wants to get back to Mule Days. We talk a lot about it on this interview coming up here.
Dude, Ray Tanner's active, Rip. After this game, Ray Tanner had some quote conversations with league officials. This man is active, sliding over offices. I don't even know if that's a true story, to be honest with you. This man got the most bizarre flag called on his squad, three of them actually, but the most bizarre one when Ashford threw up a jump ball to Campbell, who he came down with, and we're throwing flags all over the damn place. I know Ray was on the phone with the damn league trying to figure out what's going on here. What was happening from my couch on the island of Kauai was I was sitting here texting you about Rocket Sanders. Rip, that man, NFL running back right there. If I do say so, felt like he was the entirety of that South Carolina offense for a long time. Just letting that Arkansas transfer run the ball. Stock is up on Rocket Sanders, right, Rip? You buying that stock?
100%. If your nickname is Rocket, I don't think you can really fail at sports. Rocket Ishmael, Rocket Roger Clemens, like two of the greatest of all time in their sports. Rocket Ishmael in college football for Notre Dame. Roger Clemens is a baseball pitcher. Rocket Sanders has a bright future.
He looked different, more explosive, more violent, more like his 2022 self. A lot of these fans will really say, but he's the truth. Lenora Sellers, quarterback. He didn't get a full game in, but you got a text from me pretty early, Rip. The rec specs, the size of that dude, the body when he's kind of flowing, when he's running downhill. Boy, is he running downhill. Lenora Sellers, you buying that stock, Rip?
He's a good quarterback, especially as a runner, but I'm looking at the schedule you talked about a little bit before, DK. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of downhill running the rest of the season for the Gamecocks. We got Ole Miss, we got Alabama, at Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Missouri, Clemson. I mean, Clemson's a little down, but it's going to be a little rough, I think, the rest of the way for the Gamecocks.
I see you, Sellers. 88 yards, longest touchdown run by a South Carolina quarterback ever in history. I see you, big dog. Get healthy. Get back on the field. The country is also talking about Kyle Kennard, Rip, and Dylan Stewart. They're kind of holding steady there. Did you get any time, any TV time with those dudes? These are the guys they're in the mosh pit that don't get talked about as much, but then you see them on NFL Sundays. Joey Bosa, the Watts of the world. These dudes are South Carolina Tasmanian Devils, basically. And they kind of keep holding strong. You get a live look at these dudes, Kyle and Dylan.
They all passed the eyeball test, and I'll tell you what, they should have won that game. A couple time management mistakes, that last second field goal at the end by LSU. We should be looking at a 3-0 Cox team right now, is my opinion.
Telling you, these damn Cox, man, waking people up, waking the country up. I wish they would have got that win. I was so rooting for things to come together, but we said it during the Clemson loss a couple weeks ago. Sometimes these early season L's, especially these tough ones, really help elevate you, kick you forward into the next part of the season. Rip. Ray Tanner, though, he's, like I said, been with the school since August 2012. In the Tanner AD era, the women's basketball team has won 3 national titles. That's crazy. That's amazing. The equestrian team, Rip, won the 2015 national championship. Stand up for horses in college. They don't get enough respect. These USC teams won 21 SEC regular season and tournament titles and made 154 postseason appearances over the last 12 years. Ray, if you are shifting offices, if you are moving along, big hand clap from the 1-stars, my man. Those numbers are pretty impressive. South Carolina facility upgrades during Tanner's tenure, what we talk about in this interview. But we also did an indoor football practice facility, Long Family Football Operations Center. The list goes on. The list goes on, Rip. We got a Carolina Tennis Center that this man spearheaded. Enjoy this interview with Ray Tanner.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a husband, a father, a native of Johnston County, North Carolina, the current athletic director at the University of South Carolina, and someone you might just see on ESPN this Saturday. Ray Tanner is on with the One Star Recruits. Thanks for hopping on, Ray.
Thank you. It's good to be with you today.
We're glad to have you talk a lot of Gamecock sports here. ESPN College Game Day, as we know, is coming to Columbia this weekend for the first time in 10 years. We're in the fourth year of the Shane Beamer era, off to a heck of a start, 2-0 with that big win over Kentucky last weekend. We got a huge game against LSU on Saturday. It's the start of 3 straight home games down there at Williams-Brice Stadium. Are we ready to declare that South Carolina football is back?
Well, let's hope so. I'd love to be able to declare that, but we know there's a long road ahead of us. But you mentioned that we're home for the next 3, and been able to win our first game at home against Old Dominion, a very difficult team to beat, and then go on the road to Kentucky against a really talented team that, Coach Stoops has done a heck of a job at Kentucky over the years. And we were probably, whatever you look at, 9 or 10 point underdogs going into that game. And we played really well. Our defense was superb, and we won 31-6. So we were able to get out of the blocks, win a road game, and now we're back home against a great LSU team. As you know, they're good every single year, and we'll see what happens. But we're very excited about the opportunity. Sellout crowd already. We'll probably have 15,000 students at the game, so the place will be jumping.
It's going to be jumping. We're going to be watching from the West Coast. South Carolina was a kind of a national story back in the Marcus Lattimore, Jadeveon Clowney days, from what I'm used to out here on the West Coast. So I'm feeling some of those same vibes, I'm telling you now. So I know it's an exciting time in Columbia. We keep hearing about these 900 acres of university-owned land that may possibly be developed over the next few years here. And the more we talk to athletic directors on this podcast, the more we realize that it's about new revenue streams, big ideas. We know you're not going to move the stadium closer to the water, but it is 90 years old and could use some work. Can you give Gamecock fans an update on the project talks and a little bit more of a timeline for when they might see some bulldozers and cranes along that Congaree River?
Well, I'd love to see bulldozers and cranes, that's for sure. I think probably a year or so ago, maybe a little bit more, I got out front a little bit on the idea. I might have said too much, but it is a project that's ongoing. And to your point, it's inside the stadium improvements, and outside the stadium. We do have almost 900 acres down by the river, which is behind our football practice facility, the Ken Long Football Family Operations Center, which is one of the best in the country, which is across the street from the stadium. So we have an opportunity to do a lot of things to generate revenue. College athletics has changed. We're a different place than we used to be. And, I used to tell people that if you go to a minor league baseball game, it's entertainment and then a game breaks out. Well, the college space now is like there's a lot more going on than just the game. But that's what people enjoy, is the experience. Sure, they want great football. They want their home team to win, but they want a place that they can enjoy other than just inside the stadium. Your tailgating area, we have one of the nicest tailgating areas in the country, but there's opportunities for us to grow and expand. Unlike a lot of stadiums, we have room, we have space. We need to do more premium seating inside of our stadium. So we got a lot on the drawing board, and we got some room to grow. And I was in a meeting earlier today about it. So we're vetting that process out, and maybe some good things in the forefront without me putting a timeline on it. But we're trying to move in that direction as fast as possible.
Gas up those forklifts down there in Columbia. Speaking of new revenue streams, South Carolina's Under Armour contract is up in less than 2 years here. It was a groundbreaking deal when it was signed back in 2016, but I believe now you guys are the only remaining SEC school tied to Under Armour. What has Under Armour been like as a partner over the last 8 years? And is there an opening for a different sponsor to maybe step in a couple years?
Let me say that Under Armour has been fantastic. I mean, they've been really good to us. They have tremendous apparel. They were breaking into the shoe industry, especially in basketball, back in the beginning, and they got, they weren't great, I don't think, to begin with, but quickly they resolved the issue. They paid attention to detail. They came in, they worked the process. Um, we've been completely happy with Under Armour and Kevin Plank and his staff and what they have done for us. And we had a great deal. So I hope that they'll want to keep us as one of their schools. As you mentioned, we're the only one in the SEC, so maybe that puts us in a good position. But we'll see as time goes on. There is a process. There's a contract. They have a chance to come in and try to renew the contract should they choose. And in the next year or so or less, that will be on the table, and then we'll see where we go. But we have been very happy with Under Armour and our arrangement and our affiliation.
I know Steph Curry's happy too. You mentioned basketball. He's been with them for a long time there. I was kind of curious about the 10-year deal. Is there a benefit to signing maybe a shorter deal in those situations, maybe a 5 year, so you can take advantage of possibly better terms in a quicker manner? Or those
Well,
things usually go the full decade?
maybe. And I think if you did a shorter deal, it probably benefits the schools more than it does the companies. But a lot of times, the companies, even if it's not Under Armour, it could be another venture. They want to do a longer term deal so it gives them a chance to build that brand for a longer runway to give them a chance to do what they need to do financially and get their value out of the product. So I understand, how the length does work, and then you hope you get the increases annually built into your contract to keep the pace. But if you have a good partner, long term deals are okay.
And you said it. I know these things are looked at more as partnerships than just a one-off contract. So it's about the long term a lot of times in these as well. So speaking of a partnership, I want to move to women's hoops real quick because Dawn Staley, fresh off a visit to the White House yesterday to celebrate the 2024 national title with that women's hoops team, you have the best women's hoop coach in Colombia, but she isn't the highest paid in women's basketball. You mentioned on a radio interview a couple weeks ago that an extension could be in the works for her, possibly by the beginning of the season. What does Coach Staley mean to the University of South Carolina? And do you have any news to break here on one-star recruits regarding an extension?
Well, I don't have any news to break, but certainly there are ongoing conversations. I would I would like for her to be the highest paid, if you will, as we move forward. And we still got a few days before the season starts to get there. But talking about her as a basketball coach, that's one thing. She's really good. I can remember when she started, I was still coaching and she was building her program. One thing she told me back then as coaching colleagues, we were talking about our teams and recruiting and personnel one day, and things weren't going great for her team. And one thing she told me that really stuck out, she says, I will not adjust my blueprint for success. And I said, so you have a blueprint? She said, I do, but I can't get there overnight, but we will get there. Well, I'd say she got there, and she got there a lot quicker than a lot of other coaches in sports, but she's a great coach. I mean, we didn't lose a game this year. I think we've lost, 3 games in 3 years, something crazy. But she's more than that. I mean, if you watched the White House yesterday, she could be at the White House. I mean, I think President Biden told the South Carolina delegation, you better hope that she doesn't decide to stop coaching and run for office because you guys will be in trouble. But she's really a brand here at the University of South Carolina, as strong as anybody. She's beloved, she's caring, she gives back to the community, she takes time, she invests, in everybody. It's remarkable. I don't know how she has the time in a day. I call her at night, she answers. I call her early in the morning, she answers. It's amazing. She is very, very special in so many ways, and an asset to no end for the University of South Carolina.
Couldn't have said it better. And we love how she advocates for the players all the time, even players on other teams. You don't get that too often, but you got a gem down there. All right, let's have some fun here. You grew up in Johnston County, North Carolina, as I mentioned. It's about a 3.5 hour drive from Columbia. Let's play a little game we like to call how Johnston County are you? So I'm going to ask you a few questions about your hometown there and see what you got. How do you get back there often?
Not very often, although my mom and my sister still live there. They're down here more than I go up there because I have a job that, it's just like a 24/7 job. So they come down this way. But, I'm really, I was a country boy at heart, although I didn't live in the country. I think we might have had, I don't know, 3,002 stoplights in my town, but I didn't grow up hunting, fishing, like a lot of my friends back in Johnston County. I just grew up playing sports. And, I played as much as I could. Whatever's in season, I just go into the next sport. And I got a chance to play baseball collegiately at North Carolina State. So that was, just a wonderful honor. And, I didn't get a chance to play in the big leagues, but after college, I started coaching. And that led me to where I'm at today. I was assistant coach, a head coach for 25 total years as a head coach. And then I segued into becoming an athletics director. This is year 13. So this is what I've always known is intercollegiate athletics in so many different ways. It has evolved. It has changed. But I always felt that when I was coaching that I could be an athletics director, maybe just for the aspect that I'd been a student athlete. I understood facilities. I understood the competition. I understood the coaching mentality, the good days, the bad days. I understood all the dynamics. I was also very interested financially. What sports made money, how much other sports lost, where did it come from? How does it work? What do our donors really mean? What does that Gamecock Club membership take into account? That was sort of my hobby as a coach. I wanted to know how the sausage was made. And when I coached baseball, I wanted to be a sport that I didn't cost the school any money. We eventually got to that point because we had a really good fan base, sold a lot of season tickets. We weren't a great revenue producer, don't get me wrong, but we deflected, our cost to operate the program. So long story to, how I ended up here. But, when I was coaching at North Carolina State, it was the Olympic year, 1996. I was one of the assistant coaches with Coach Burtman. He was a head coach from LSU. Coach Polk was on the staff. And I was one of the assistants as well. This job was offered to me. My wife had graduated at the University of South Carolina, Southeastern Conference, baseball at a high level. Sports are a big deal. Not that the ACC is not, but the SEC was a step or two ahead. And we like to think that we're still in that position today. So I'm fortunate that I've been able to be in Columbia for a long time.
Well, you created quite the legacy down there, and like I said, it all started in Johnston County. We're going to hit you with a few here, just a little bit about your hometown, and see what you can give us here. The Hal Theater in downtown Smithfield was opened in 1935. It's still the place to be, I think, to see movies in Johnston County. Can you tell us what famous actress from the 40s and 50s was born nearby and has a museum located less than a block from the theater? I think this is a softball one for you.
Well, I don't know if it's a softball because I'm going to say Ava Gardner. Am I
That's
right?
it. You got it.
Okay, so pretty good. Well, in Benson, we didn't have a theater. Come on, we didn't. We had to go to Smithfield or somewhere else. We didn't have a theater in Benson, but yeah, it's people tell me all the time that hey, I was driving on I-95 and I passed your hometown, and there's signs up for Ava Gardner, but none for Ray Tanner. I go, yeah, I get it. I got
Can I get a side street named after Ray Tanner at least? All right. Real quick one in Smithfield. I'm pretty sure you've been here. It's a restaurant called the Chicken Barn. It's in downtown Smithfield, opened in 1979. It features lots of homemade North Carolina favorites. Can you name at least three items on the menu at the Chicken Barn?
Oh, let's see. Um, Chicken, vinegar-based barbecue,
Uh-huh.
mac and cheese.
Yes.
Yeah. So I played American Legion ball in Smithfield because it was about 15 or 16 miles from my hometown. We didn't have our own team. We had a county team, Johnston County, as you mentioned. So that's where I played Legion ball. So I was in Smithfield quite a bit.
They got I think the signs, liver and gizzards is a specialty, but yeah, popcorn chicken,
Gizzards are
mac and
good.
cheese. Yeah,
Gizzards are good now.
yeah, a little polarizing, but we know they love them in North Carolina. All right, last one. You mentioned Benson, South Johnston High School. That town is famous for the 75-year-old tradition of the Mule Days celebration. It's a tribute to the hardworking mules that serve the community. And it's coming up in a few weeks, actually, at the end of September here. What is your best memory from Mule Days and your favorite thing to do at that festival?
Well, for years, I would never miss Mule Days, even when I was in college. I would say some of my friends, hey, because it was September, we played in the spring, but we had fall practice, but we were usually off on the weekends in September. I'd say, come home with me, we'll go to Mule Days. And they're like, seriously? Mule Days? What is that? Well, it's a parade, first of all, but the majority of the parade is mules that this country was founded upon. But we had a rodeo Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday that used to be in the ballpark. Now we destroyed the ballpark, but we had the real rodeo like you see today on TV, but it was local, it was hometown, so it was a blast. I mean, so people came from all over. They still do to go to Mule Days, so that's a big thing. I don't get down there anymore, but my mom still asks, "Hey, you coming home from Mule Days?" I'm kind of busy this time of year with football, so it's neat though. It's like no other.
I love it. Yeah, I was on the website for a while last night. I'm ready to take a trip down there just to check it out. Definitely a unique thing. I think 75 years this year. So
I'm impressed with your research. I'm thinking you're not going to know that Benson's famous for Mule Days, but you
thank
got.
you. Yeah. We're one stars, but we come up with some good ones every now and then. All right, and speaking of, I want to end this interview with a segment we call One Star to Five Star. We're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest on this podcast, like yourself. So just a few to close it out, and they run the gamut on a 1 to 5 star scale here. You're a legendary baseball manager, 2 College World Series titles, more than 1,000 wins, and over 20 years of coaching. I'm a 1 star coaching a minor B kid pitch fall ball team in Long Beach Little League. We got our first game this Sunday. It's a squad full of 7, 8, and 9 year olds. What's a 5 star piece of advice that you could give me, coach to coach, to kind of instill that love for the game and still have fun and also get these kids a little better along the way?
I think it's easy for you. It's easy because the talent level is what it is, right? I'm going to help you advance your team right now. Ready?
Let's go.
Belief, fun, and confidence. They got to have fun. You can't take the fun away from them. If they miss the base, you got to try to teach a little bit, but it's got to be positive reinforcement. You can't push them away from the game. It's got to be fun. And if they get beat, it's okay. You don't win them all. The big leagues, they play 162. They lose a bunch. Even the best teams lose a bunch. So let's start with having some fun, but instill the confidence when they do something good. I think that grows. I even had to learn that as an adult coach, that it seemed like I was more successful the more fun they had. So I think that's the key is keep them enjoying what they're doing, and I think the success will be there as well.
I love that. The more successful, the more fun they have. Words to live by, really, as a coach in any sport. Let's move on here. I'm 45 years old, and I want nothing more than to retire and travel the world and go to sporting events like this Saturday in Columbia. It's my dream life and something I look forward to at some point down the road. You're in your 60s now with a full coaching career and over a decade as AD at South Carolina. How often do you think of, let's call it a succession plan and retirement? And on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, what's the likelihood that you might ride off into the sunset before, let's say, your 70th birthday?
Well, you think about that, but I don't like thinking about what's on the other side
Yeah.
because I'm kind of like you. I think kind of like you do. If I'm not doing this, what do I get to do next? I know I can't take your place as a 1 star on this podcast, but I want to be able to go to the next thing. Age is just a number, and so you think about all kinds of things. Like I did a couple of TV games, just as an analyst, and man, is that fun! I mean, that was like fun. So if I do segue out of this role, I want to be able to go do something like you're talking about. What's next?
Yep.
What are we going to do? I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't think my wife will allow me to be at home like full time. I mean, seriously. I mean, I've been married for over 30 years. She's gonna say, you might not go to work, but you got to get out of here. So I gotta be able to do something.
She's gonna tell you Mule Days is in 2 weeks. Get your butt to North Carolina
Out
over
of
there.
here. Yes.
Last one here. Let's close it out with one for the Gamecocks fans. Columbia is one of those unique cities in the South in that there aren't any professional sports teams to compete with directly in that town of about 150,000. We see College Game Day, we see Willie B, we see the passion of Gamecocks fans all over the country. What's the five-star aspect you've seen about the fan base in Columbia in your 30 years at the school that makes the University of South Carolina such a special place for sports?
Loyalty. And I say that because when I was a baseball coach, Lou Holtz was our coach, and he had a couple of really, really tough years. I mean, we were like you probably looked it up. It was 0 and 11, 1 and 10, maybe back to
Yep.
back years. And I was recruiting, so we would bring recruits to football games, and the place was packed, and the kids would like, well, I didn't think your team was very good. I said, well, our record's not real good, but you got a packed stadium. I said, well, that's our fan base. Like I'm a very popular guy today because we don't have any tickets, we don't have any parking, and we got game day, and people want access, they want tickets. So my phone's ringing off the hook to try to. That's a good thing. That's great. That we'll probably have 80,000 this weekend. We're expecting a little bit of rain. Nobody cares. So we're going to do our very best to try to go out and try to win our third game. I talked to Coach Beamer a little bit earlier today. Guys are fired up, and LSU needs to win. We need to win. That's what makes SEC football what it is. But Columbia is special. You mentioned that we're the only show in town. That's women's basketball. They're on the national stage. Football's big right now. It's Lamont Paris won 26 games last year. You're not competing with the NHL or the NBA or MLB. It's your student athletes are the big deal here, and the university, the city and the university, we work well together to brand each other. So it's a great place to be. I've been here. This is year 29, I guess. So there's a reason you stay at one place for so long. It's a great place.
You set that loyalty example right there, and we know. I think you got a shuttle going at 5:45 a.m. on Saturday. Gamecock Park is going to be the place to be. We know that shuttle is going to be standing room only. Everyone, go follow Ray at Ray Tanner SC on Twitter. Anything you want to know about South Carolina athletics can be found on GamecocksOnline.com. Hey, keep it under control this weekend down there. We're watching from 3,000 miles away. Best of luck, and thank you, Ray, again for coming on with the One-Star Recruits.
Well, thank you. It's great to visit with you. So pull for the Gamecocks this weekend.
We'll be out here rooting. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Thank you, Ray. Best of luck to the Gamecocks, the Cocks, for the rest of the season. Gamecocks fans, you can go ahead and end the podcast now because I'm going to shift over to my squad. We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. I don't even care. I don't even care for the whole country and the whole world. 41-10. Amazing. Marvin Harrison, touchdown passes and yards. Amazing. None of that is the story here. What the story is this, after 6 years, 7 years, this is Kyler Murray that we all have been waiting for. Kyler has arrived. Here is Kyler Murray. This is what we've been waiting for. It takes time. Trust the process. Sourdough bread. Learning a new language. Playing NFL quarterback. 41-10. Smooth operator. In control. Guess what? When Kyler scrambled around, Rip, he scrambled with a plan. When he moved his body, he moved with a concept. When his eyes shifted this game, he's shifting linebackers. Kyler Murray. You want to watch somebody who doesn't have a plan? Take a look at Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Brute force dummy. You want to look at a quarterback who has some real solid flow now, who has an understanding of the game because he sat on the sidelines long enough, who's washed his ego away? Kyler Murray. Number 1, Arizona Cardinals. Welcome back, my friend.
I hate to rain on your parade, but I got to play devil's advocate here. That Rams team that Kyler just gave it to the other day, missing a lot of defenders. No Aaron Donald, retired. They got a lot of guys gone, a lot of guys injured. Let's see what he does against Aiden Hutchinson and the Lions this week. I want to see some consistency. Look, my 5-year-old asked for a Kyler Murray jersey this morning. and I'm not mad about it, but I want to see him do it over and over and over again. I've seen Andy Dalton have these great games, DK. I've seen Jeff George have perfect rating games. I want to see Kyler do it week in and week out before I believe in him.
Not overreacting, just reading what I saw, just reading the room, reading the way that his arm movement looks, the way that he understands the game and it's slowing down for him. We'll see. Detroit's a big test, and Detroit's pissed off. They're coming off a pissed off game we're going to have to deal with. Can you hear the cocks? Did you hear that cock? That's
No.
the good microphone I have. That's why the studio here in Hawaii is set up lovely. You cannot even hear the cocks. They're crowing right now. I think that's the Gamecocks still really, really excited about that Ray Tanner intro I did for him. It's a lot of playoff wins for that man, Rip. Not a lot of playoff wins for Zach Taylor, though. Let's do some overreaction or reality here real fast, Rip. Zach Taylor, is he going to last the full season as the Bengals head coach?
Yes, he's had enough success in the past that he will, barring something catastrophic. Again, injuries with that team. T. Higgins should be coming back soon, help him out a little bit. They still have a good defense. I'm not writing them off yet. It's 2 weeks into the season. You can't draw any final conclusions yet.
A loaded AFC North and a tough AFC along the way. They love to do this in Cincinnati, this weird lose early, fight really hard to get back in it thing. It's yuck. We talked about our Cardinals. You were pretty clear on the Rams. So now we've moved. Rams automatically. Me and you agree. Finished last in the NFC West, rebuilding here.
Offensively, they're dropping like flies too. They got some O linemen out. Their top two receivers, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, not looking good for the Rams the rest of the way.
This one sucks for me because this was so unexpected, and I hate that we're having this conversation right now because I think the Ravens are so talented, defensively in particular, and they're not showing it at all on defense. Humphreys, Queen look very average. Rip, the Ravens, though, are going to miss the playoffs, man. Is this true or false?
That's false. That's a hot take. Again, I mean, I'm not drawing any conclusions 2 weeks into the season. It's a small sample size for me. They played a really good team in week one. Those things happened last week. They got knocked off by the Raiders, but like you said, it's a really good team, one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL. They'll bounce back. I think they just need a little wake-up call, and I think they got it last week against the Raiders.
They blew another 7-point fourth quarter lead. It's their 10th, by the way, in the last 4 seasons. And I get it when J.K. Dobbins, who was injured, or I don't even remember their shitty running backs over the years. Guess what? You have Derrick Henry. Give him the fucking ball. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. You want me to read that again? They blew another 7-point fourth quarter lead. You don't have to be the same old fucking Ravens. Give him the ball. Dummies, you big dummies. They have a gauntlet too. They got to go to Dallas, who knows what happened there. Gauntlet coming up though. A bunch of tough games. Anyway, Rip. Positive note. The New Orleans Saints, great food, lovely culture. I guess apparently they have the best offense in the NFC now. True or false?
They did for the first 2 weeks. That's true. Going forward, false. I think it's going to go back to Dallas or even the 49ers again. But look, offensive coordinator change is huge down there. They got Kubiak in there. Definitely unlock something in Derek Carr in that offense. Alvin Kamara is back to what he was a few years ago. Even against a good Dallas team at Dallas, they did it. So they showed it. They proved it. They're not going to score 40 points a game, but if they score in the mid 20s, I think they'll be good.
I still don't know. I kind of rooting for them, but it's a stand back and see type situation. I still don't know. And Dallas, either Dallas might have one of the worst defenses they've had in the last 20 years, if my eyes weren't deceiving me. We got Emmitt Smith coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to have to get his take on this Dallas squad. So confusing. Hurting my soul as a fantasy football owner of some of these players on Dallas, Rip. Very confusing times indeed. Trev Lawrence. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about the stadium, maybe cursing him, maybe give him the Trevor Lawrence curse, Clemson curse, if you will. Trevor Lawrence, though, he isn't a franchise quarterback. True or false?
False. Number one pick in the draft a few years ago. A couple mediocre games, but he had a really good season last season. I think they need to just unlock something there. Maybe stop running as much. Evan Engram got hurt in pregame warmups. That's his security blanket right there. Had like 100 catches last year, so he was without that guy. I'm not making excuses for the guy, but he's a top 12 quarterback in the league.
That man's 0-7 in his last 7 starts. Just in case you're keeping track. Not great numbers for a quarterback who just got double nickel million, I believe, 55 million additional funds. He's got to cut the hair. I'm not lying.
Maybe that's the change he needs. You cut
It
your hair,
is.
and this podcast took off.
It is. Manscape your pubes, not going to cut it, T. Lawrence. You got to cut your hair. The time's come. It's slowing you down. We need a pick me up. It didn't work for Joe Burrow, but holy shit, Joe Burrow looks really cool. I'm thinking about dyeing my hair again, Rip, at 43. He
But
looks fucking cool. He looks like you in one of your acting careers when you played X with actress Paris Hilton. Very cool character, Joe Burrow. If he let it grow out a little bit, bleached it, and then let it grow out a little bit. We thought that was long dead from 2001. Guess who's back? Back again.
Eminem's back, and apparently that the blonde hair is back. Yeah, it does look good. It wouldn't look good on us now. I guarantee that, but it looks good on Joey B.
Gray hair, gray on blonde. Last one, Marvin Harrison Jr., though. Fun. That was fun. That was just, I know I started a little hyped up because before I even got a chance to flip over to that game completely and get off of Red Zone channel, he had 2 touchdowns and 100. Real fucking quick. We're talking D Hop numbers. 4 catches for 130, Rip. 2 tutties. D Hop numbers. It felt like, God, it was nice. How nice was that? David Boston? Is David Boston back? Is David Boston back, folks? Paging Rob Moore. Paging Rob Moore. Larry has came back to the field. Rip, will Marvin Harrison Jr. live up to the hype and get his 1,000 yards like we all expected?
I think he will, and it's because he's a hard worker. He's humble. He's a chip off the old block from his dad, who was way undersized but worked really hard, ran good routes, and was in a good offense. So if the Cardinals' offense stays anywhere close to what it was like last week, this kid's gonna produce. Because the best thing he said was the opening line of his press conference after he saw Kyler had 4 incompletions. They were all to him. 4 out of 8 targets he caught. So he was kind of dwelling on those 4 that he didn't catch, and he wants to correct that going forward. So that's a good attitude for a young kid to have.
Rip likes the attitude. Send it, write it off, write the check, baby. Rip likes the attitude. On pace, Mr. Harrison, for 1,139 yards this season. So he'll be challenging Anquan Bolden. He had the rookie franchise record of 1,377. Not that it matters at all, but good ass dude. Rip approves. I approve. He's coming for 1,000. I'm Cardinals heavy right now. The defense, I'm fine. The defense, fine. It's gonna suck, and it's gonna probably 25 points a game are going to be given up. Although Buda Baker was flying around, he can't do it all. I accept defeat over there. But if Mr. Murray can just find a way, and McBride can stay active, and Connor can keep truck sticking people, it's a lot. Give me some wood. Give me some wood. All I got is cocks around me, and I need some wood. Because this might have been my best. This might have been my favorite Cardinals fan week ever. Ever. In the history, Rip, is how good I felt watching that complete game. That's it. That's enough NFL talk. That's enough NFL talk, Rip. We've had it. 1-star moments of the week. Let's hit it. Lead off hitter. Juan Pierre, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with the baseball one. Fresh off the heels of that Ray Tanner interview, Ray won 2 national titles at South Carolina, as we mentioned in the interview. He gave me some really good advice about coaching the little league and how to make sure the kids keep having fun while they're so young. So we had our first game Sunday. We won, which was good. Good thing. Always good to win. We stole 20 bases, so it was awesome. I think probably broke some sort of fall league record in Long Beach. But on the downside, I think I've ingrained in the kids so much to steal bases that they wouldn't stop, and that's a little bit of the problem. We won 11-5, which isn't a blowout by any means, but I told them to stop stealing the last inning because I didn't want to run up the score. Fortunately, we didn't run it up too much, and we only won by 6, but That was my one-star moment of the week. I got to figure out a way to put the brakes on. So I'm asking you, DK, how much of a lead is too much, and when should we take our foot off the gas as far as stealing bases?
Unwritten rules, I'm not 100% sure of. They change every 5 or 6 years. But what I am hearing is you're getting directly disrespected and saying no more stealing. And you're getting a ranch flavored sunflower seed spit on your New Balance. And these kids are deciding to do self steals without approval. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, it's probably a coaching error because I tell them to steal all the time. I ingrain it in them in practice, and the good news is they're listening, but they might be listening a little too much in practice. So we gotta know when to turn it off. So I'll talk to them about it. We'll get it fixed. But
Well, don't worry. Uncle DK is here with the solution. This is a great opportunity to implement because they see it in college football and they see it on the sidelines all day long. This is a great opportunity to implement a baseball hand gesture, which kids love doing, anyway. When a lead is enough, you think it's enough, and it depends on situations, the lineup, the weather. Managerial decisions, Rip. You know what I'm talking about. This is dynamic. Things are ever moving when you're the manager. It can't be a set number. So when you drop the sign, which it could be a fun sign, this is how you get buy-in from the kids. Maybe you let them pick the sign. Maybe it's a TikTok dance move that they like, but that's the sign to shut it down. And if you run after you get the shutdown sign, you gotta run laps. There's consequences.
that's actually a great idea. Probably one of your best of the year. I like that. Maybe the third base coach does the gritty or something like that. Something they can relate to. I
The
like
key to
that.
the key to success is not you old farts determining what the sign is. The thing is saying, kids, do you buy into this? And they say yes. You say, okay, if you buy in, we'll let you create the sign for Coach Keith over here at third base. And then they get together, you let them huddle up, and then they present it. Coach Keith has to do it. And that's how we do because they're involved in this decision making at that point in time too. So they'll respect it more.
Great advice. Great parenting advice too. I mean, if you let the kids decide and be involved, they'll probably implement it a little bit more. I like that. Good job. What's your one
One,
star
no,
moment?
thank you, Rip. You're full of love. Rip's respect it. There it is for me too. Not only did he give it to Buda Baker, I believe he gave it over here to me. Thank you, Rip. Very kind of you. Double car update for my 1 star moment. It's time to pay the piper. Let everybody know the situation. Quick reminder. My one car, the coupe. I tried to tow on my own and I blew the tire out and it wasn't starting and needed new stuff and it was a mess and it ended up getting to the damn Toyota dealership. It is there. I got a quote back and I got a situation back. And then my truck. Today is the day, the Tundra. The Tundra is going to get undented by the undenting guy who is actually coming here to do it in person. So, moral of the story, Rip, final price tag. The coupe, a final price tag of $5,641 for a new hybrid battery. These batteries last for 10 years, apparently. I'm right about 10 years with this one. Not a normal battery. 350, sometimes 299 if you go to Napa, get it on sale, or get whatever, Rip. You know what I'm talking about? Nope, not this one. A hybrid battery. Almost 4600. And then the labor. So there's that one. The little dent in the truck of my dummy move. Final price tag $1,700. The same amount that I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to get yards wise. Hopefully he yaks that is what I'm manifesting. But that's going into my Tundra today. All in all, 7,500, 1 star moment, quick turnaround. I got to be more like my homie Rip, even though I appreciate your approval today. My confidence, my cup fill is over with your approval, Rip. You're so kind with your words. I got to be more like you and get a 2011 Kia and a 2013 Chrysler minivan so I don't have to worry about these obscure batteries and obscure costs in the future. Keep it simple, stupid.
I think it's more of you living on a remote island that there's only one guy that can fix a dent, probably one crazy hybrid battery available on the whole island. I think that's more of the problem.
1.5 months until I get the battery in there. That's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. You know what I'll
Unbelievable.
follow up to on that 1 star moment? Because I sent it out to the group text and I did not get a comment from you except for kind of You kind of poo-pooed it, kicked it to the side a little bit. I sent you the menu of the Burger King burgers, not the combo meals, but the Burger King burgers. And listeners, a Whopper Junior, $23.95. A regular Whopper, $26.99. Our good friend Rip, the value guy, wasn't even spooked by these prices. He responded, airports have been gouging us for years. Rip shut down the whole text message chain. Nobody even responded after that to a live text. That was a fire text, my best of the week.
Yeah, it was shocking menu prices. But I do believe if you went outside of the airport, cut $5 or $6 off that, then it would look a little more realistic for Hawaii. So good try, man. You didn't get it past me though.
Not even a future shock value. You used just airport prices and you accepted that that's fair offering. They have unions. They work for the union. Fair offering.
No, airport prices in Hawaii. That's the second level there that you have to think about. So yeah, just to be expected, honestly.
Listeners, don't worry. Don't worry, listeners, because I got a California Pizza Kitchen next door. I did not pay $26 for a Whopper Junior. I paid $47 for a California Pizza Kitchen barbecue chicken pizza. So don't worry. 1-star wreck of the week. Rip, go ahead.
I got something for our folks down in Columbia, South Carolina. There's a couple Trader Joe's locations out there. I'm at Trader Joe's 3 times a week out here in California. It's fall, it's rainy, the weather's cooling off a little bit. It's time to get your Trader Joe's Pumpkin O's cereal, DK. If you haven't had the pleasure of having them, it's $2.99 a box. Good breakfast in the morning for you. A little sugary, but not too bad. If you're into those pumpkin tastes, all that pumpkin stuff you see popping up, add another one to your list. Trader Joe's Pumpkin O's cereal, 5-star meal.
No Spanx. No Spanx from me. Healthy wreck for me. Switching gears. Pumpkin O's over to create your own healthy bowl at any Thai restaurant anywhere in the world. You ready, Rip? This one is actually going to kill you, so this is not a good one for you. Are you ready anyway?
Hopefully nothing to do with the airport food.
No, just something that will literally kill you, murder you, kill you, dying, seizure, dead, Rip dead. But for everybody else, this has been 3 times a week meal at my household, and it's just a real winner. It works consecutively and is saving. I think it's actually saving some money because chicken's expensive. Anyway, any Thai spot on the appetizer menu, they're gonna have chicken saute. You want to order that? One order of chicken saute. Rip, that's the one that will kill you. That has
peanut sauce. I'm out.
Correct. So you're out. So maybe you can take out the chicken saute, Rip, for you. But no, I'm not even talking to you, bro. Stop stealing my moment. So chicken saute, peanut sauce, amazing. Then you order 3 chicken skewers. All Thai places have them. They're barbecue chicken skewers that have a wonderful marinade. It's almost like a sweet, nice, delicious marinade. And then you get a side of white rice. And white rice is healthy. Not healthy, but it's the carbs you need if you're moving your body. I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me about it. White rice, it makes the dish way better. At your house, you've already gone to the grocery store and you buy broccoli, any vegetables you want, but we do broccoli, carrots, and tomatoes. So take it back to your little house. You dice up the chicken, all of it, dice up the saute, dice, rice in bowl, vegetables, stir fry them up with a little bit of that marinade sauce that you have in your chicken. Put your chicken in, let your chicken get a little bit of a browning effect, Rip. You're getting a good bowl here. Healthy bowl is what's happening. Then you take your chicken saute, add your peanut sauce. Not you, Rip. We know, Rip. We know it's going to kill you. We add your peanut sauce, mix it into the saute, put your rice in your bowl. You put your vegetables and chicken on one side. You put your chicken saute on the other side. Add a little bit of hot sauce, some green onions, and some sesame seeds. The healthiest bowl you've had. And you can get that at any Thai restaurant for less than $20.
All right. A little convoluted. I think it'd be better in maybe a printout format from recipes.com. It's
that was
hard
a lot
to follow on a podcast.
I know. I was saying that a lot. That was a lot. Sorry, listeners.
All I heard was it could kill me. I'm out.
Yeah, Rip was out, but it's basically you take the chicken skewers and a side of rice and make a fun little bowl. Wreck of the week. God, I'm long-winded. I apologize, Rip. Your reacts, though, the moment everybody's been waiting for. Hit the music. after signing a contract extension with the Penguins on Monday, Sidney Crosby, Sid the Kid, was personally delivering season tickets to people's houses. Rip, this has got to be the best preseason tradition in all of sports. Should more teams do this, especially in small markets?
Yes. I saw the clips of it. I mean, if someone like that came to your door, it'd be amazing. Imagine Kyler Murray coming to your door. You'd probably think he was a trick-or-treater. He's about 5'2", baby Yoda, but it would be amazing. My kids would be over the moon to see something like that. Someone they see on TV coming to your door. Can't beat that. I love it.
I know the ego and these guys don't have time, whatever. They go to schools, they do other stuff. This is a small thing that means so much every year, and the Penguins do it better than anybody else. And shout out to Sid, 20 years in the game, taking less money. Shout out Sid the Kid Crosby. Arch Manning, Rip. He's one of the highest paid players. He was a backup. He's not anymore. Arch Manning. We got a good look at him at Texas. Number 1 ranked Texas. What NFL team do you foresee Archie Manning landing on, Rip? It'd be ironic if he ends up as a Giant, possibly.
I mean, the Panthers are getting the first pick, but is he eligible for the draft next year? I don't even know. We're looking at 2026, Arch Manning. Shit, the Panthers will probably be the number 1 draft pick the next few years at this rate, but they're going to need somebody else. Andy Dalton isn't it? Bryce Young obviously isn't it? Archie Manning to the Panthers. Restart the franchise. Let's go.
Start it over. Maybe 0-7, last 7-game losses. Maybe it's Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Jaguars rebranded their stadium as Trevor Bank Stadium. Their Everbank Stadium is the name. It's a collaboration from Everbank. So cringy, yuck, bad. We know Trevor Lawrence went on to throw out a big stinker. Did the Jags curse Trevor Lawrence with this move, Rip? Was this set up for failure from the beginning?
I mean, he had to sign off on it, him, his agent. It feels like a Fonzie Happy Days jump the shark moment, to be honest. So maybe he is on the decline, but everybody knows it's your bobblehead night. It's your name the stadium after you night. You can't go out there and lay an egg. You gotta have a great game.
Get your game together, Rip. Paul George in Philly. You're from Philly. You're a Pennsylvania guy. The 76ers are talking about moving from Philadelphia over to New Jersey on the Delaware River. Can you just explain to human beings who don't understand the geography of what we're talking about here? Should Philly fans be worried about a move to New Jersey?
I don't think so. I think it's a power play. It's a negotiating tactic. They want a new arena in Philadelphia. Look, Camden is right across the river. It's not a good area. Not that Philadelphia is, but you got to keep that team in Philly. It's where they've been forever. It's where all the other teams are. I think it's a negotiating tactic. It won't work. That team will stay in Philly. They'll get their arena downtown in the city center. That's what they want.
Negotiate with nobody except yourself for greatness, Rip. You are a wonderful man, a kind human, one of the best NFL fantasy commissioners that I know. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.